What airport business were you on that day?
I was on vacation, actually.
You were on vacation. So how did you feel to find out that you were told that he was going to be on airport business and couldn't come before this committee and left you in the lurch, which you couldn't answer the questions, and to find out that it might have been personal leave?
I didn't realize that at that time, but I was surprised.
So, I mean, because you folks were totally unprepared, couldn't answer the questions, was very embarrassing, and you had been given, what, 1 day's notice, or even that much, that you would have to appear before us?
Yes.
Can you clarify again the reason that you were not in attendance at our WAM meeting April 09, when you told Mr. Hayakawa the morning of the hearing that you were going to go on airport business?
I was on vacation, but I did meet with airline officials while I was on the mainland.
You left the morning of the hearing, is that correct?
Thereabouts.
Because I remember Mr. Hayakawa, and he's confirmed that a second time, that when he came, he just found out that morning and you were leaving on an airplane. We also have other reports from people from the airport said you did in fact leave that morning. If you did go on airport business, is there any record of that?
It was personal vacation, and people had asked if they could meet while I was in transit, so I met them and continued on my personal vacation.
So we got your personal leave paper, and it dated vacation for 8 working hours on April 9th. And so you only took vacation for 1 day.
I believe the Friday was a holiday, state holiday.
What about the 8th?
I'd have to check. I'm not sure exactly.
Well, according to your leave, and Mr. Moroka, you did give us this, you said you only had 2 for the month of April, this one, and I believe April 28th was the other, also for 8 hours.
Yes.
But the hearing was held on April 8th in the morning. You left that morning for your vacation, yet you don't have a vacation, so the state paid you for that day, for your personal leave?
Once again, let me check. I'm not sure exactly what the dates were.
Well, this is your vacation paper.
I don't exactly recall what time I left on the 8th.
I believe that you told Mr. Hayakawa you're on a flight that morning on the 8th. Otherwise, why wouldn't you have been here at the hearing?
I'll check and I'll get back to you on the details of that.
I believe that when people do go on and part of their trip is in fact business, we do normally log that. We normally will ask for per diem. We did in fact have a hearing on that day. There is no notation for a personal leave. Your staff, airport staff, could not answer questions that day. It was embarrassing, to say the least. And then to find out that instead of official business, the person was on personal leave, has been attested to on 2 occasions here in this committee, and now we're trying to maybe say it was partially working. You know, I find that very curious to hear some of these excuses at this point in time. But this is serious. If in fact you were on personal leave and vacation and you were in attendance at the Masters, then why is the state paying for you?
As a note, I did contact both individuals who Mr. Sekiguchi claimed to have a meeting with during his layover in Las Vegas. Both had indicated to me that they did meet with him on official business. Up until a couple days ago, I would say that I was not aware that this meeting had occurred as a part of a dinner meeting.
You did talk to Mr. Aoki, though, you said.
Yes, I did.
And he didn't tell you that?
No, he did not.
You didn't ask?
No, I
We
did
called
not.
him and we asked. This meeting took place in Las Vegas. It was a dinner meeting. We also checked with those names that you gave us with Mr. Aoki. He thinks it was a 3-hour dinner meeting. He thinks it went from like 7 to 10 at night. He did say some business was discussed regarding the airlines, scheduling, which no documents passed hands, nothing in writing. He did say that this information was not urgent. This meeting was not urgent. Mr. Oki is based here in Honolulu. The meeting could have been held here. Did you approve this official business?
I approved his vacation request for April 9th.
Did you approve any official travel, any official business prior
No,
to?
because none was requested.
You didn't know about this meeting, did you?
No,
So you had no knowledge until now, after the fact,
correct.
of this business. So in your determination of his official travel, did you believe that this dinner in Las Vegas was an appropriate venue, an appropriate place for such a meeting to take place, to be considered official business?
I was not aware that he went, that he had a dinner meeting. I do not think it would have been appropriate.
The embattled DOT deputy in charge of state airports abruptly stepped down last week with just 5 days' notice. Brian Sekiguchi's management skills and ethics have come under fire by a key state senator.
He's been under fire for a number of questionable business deals by the airports division, which is paying more than $500,000 a year to sublease this building on Uolena Street near Honolulu Airport that it already owns. And the state is paying twice as much money to buy half the land it had planned to purchase to expand the heliport at Lihue Airport on Kauai. His boss, Transportation Director Brennan Morioka, said this.
We at the department, as well as this administration, takes those kinds of things very seriously, especially the perception.
But today, Brennan Morioka's spokeswoman would only say that Sekiguchi offered his resignation and the DOT accepted it as of last Friday. That's 5 days after Sekiguchi told his staffers that he was quitting. And the governor's spokesman says that he offered her no reasons for why he was stepping down.
My name is Sansa Paul, and I'm the Area Vice President for Securitas. We would have meetings monthly with the state. In these meetings, TSA or Lori Leong was the federal director at that time, would meet with us, and that's where we met Lori Leong in these briefings.
Who brought him to those briefings?
He was invited by, I believe, Brian Sekiguchi to the briefings.
So he came to these meetings for about a year prior to you hiring him?
I can't recall exactly, but I think it could be the year or two prior to hiring him.
I asked whether or not Mr. Stanford Miyamoto, who took the place of Lowry Leong, that if he was taken to any of the meetings or attended any of the meetings. Did you take him to these breakfast meetings?
Well, Stanford did. We've meet with him on a periodic basis.
Well, I checked and I called Mr. Miyamoto and he said he had not attended any meetings. I also checked with San Sapao and he said he doesn't even know what Mr. Miyamoto looks like. I specifically asked because you had taken Mr. Leong for a period of almost a year to these breakfast meetings, which then prompted them to hire him. And I asked whether or not Mr. Miyamoto was also taken to these meetings, if this was standard and not something being done only for Mr. Leong. Do you take him to the monthly meetings with Securitas?
In the transition, yeah, we did.
You have taken
when we were
him.
going through that period. I don't recall the meetings, but yeah, he attended some of the meetings. Mr. Leong was in the position as the senior executive director for TSA at that time, and Mr. Miyamoto wasn't in that position.
And he took Mr. Leong's position.
Correct.
Is it the same position?
Same position.
Same position. You made it sound like it was standard for them to attend, but when we asked you whether Mr. Moto attended these meetings and you took him, you said yes, not all the meetings, but some of them.
I don't recall the meetings, but yeah, he attended some of the meetings. Why don't you let us check back and figure out which meetings you're talking about making this?
I'm talking about the same meetings that you took Mr.
We
Leong
have
to.
meetings on a regular basis, constantly.
Breakfast meetings with Securitas on a regular basis.
We don't have per se regular meetings with Securitas at breakfast.
So did you take him to these breakfast meetings?
Well, Stanford did. We've meet with him on a periodic basis also.
Well, I checked and I called Mr. Miyamoto and he said he had not attended any meetings. I also checked with San Sapao and he said he doesn't even know what Mr. Miyamoto looks like.